All right, thank you all for your wonderful advice and information. So if anybody has questions, please bring them up on your little 3x5 card. You would write it down and then bring it up. We have one question so far, and it just says, what is considered a healthy relationship? We can start with that. Who would ever like to take that one?
I think it's a healthy relationship is one that's mutually satisfying. It doesn't hurt anyone and enriches the life of the people that are involved.
That's a good answer.
Anyone else want to say anything?
Well said.
Okay. All right. We will continue on. The next question says, please make a few suggestions on polyamorous relationships, straight, bi, gay, and lesbian relationships. Anyone care to comment?
I'll comment.
Go for it.
That's a big area, but I mean, you start with what Warren said is like, as long as you're both happy and mutually fulfilled, but in terms of, well, poly, definitely have to have a lot of communication. I think for any relationship, you have to have a lot of communication. Keep the lines of communication open and have agreements. What was they want everything by?
Just polyamorous in general, and then maybe addressing GLBT relations, or?
Yeah, I would just say to keep the lines of communication open, and if you're feeling threatened, especially for poly, because it's so complex and multifaceted, you really have to be a communicator. The research has shown you have to really like communicating and be comfortable to share and to be intimate, open with who you are, what's going on with you. And I just working with the couples I've worked with in terms of if you're monogamous versus poly, there's so many other people involved in an intimate level. You can't put things aside for maybe as long as you do if you let things go in a monogamous relationship. There's so many issues for lesbian, gay, there's so many other topics to go in. I'm not sure which other way to go, but you feel free to come up to me afterward and talk.
Thank you. Valerie, go ahead.
Whoops, is that, okay, I'm on. I was going to say, yes, it can get really complicated in poly relationships. I think the most important thing, like you said, is open communication. I think it's really important that these people really know what they're doing, and there can be problems with poly relationships because some of them have other poly relationships, and the research has shown that the poly relationships do not last as much as a monogamous relationship. It just seems like they break up, they break down, and therefore it interferes with a true, complete intimacy that you have with that one person. Like I say, I'm not saying it isn't possible, but I'm saying that the research shows that it doesn't end up as satisfying.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think first of all, a relationship like that, a poly relationship, can be a stage in the growth of a person. And at a certain time of their life, they want to experience that. And they're just exploring. And we mustn't let our own personal value system interfere. That's not what people come to us for them to agree with our moral sense of what we think is right and wrong. We have to approach them with an attitude to help them in their path. And it's hard not to make a judgment because we know the facts, but many people are not interested at that time in their life with a lasting relationship. They just want to, play the field, and I think we've got to keep from judging them that way and just It's not easy.
Not directly related, but because we touched on it, most people in here are practitioners, right? Or at least half the room. And so I think it's a good time to point out that one of the skills that you should develop while you're in training is learning how to separate yourself. You are almost like a channel, a vessel to provide resources for this person. And when you're done, you leave it there. You leave it in the chart, you leave it in the room, you get rid of the energy. That's the only way that you'll be able to be healthy yourself, and the only way that you'll be able to help people in the future too. So that goes along with leaving your kaleidoscope view of the world in your purse in the closet or back pocket or whatever. So I think it's a challenging thing to learn, and when we're tired and not well, we often forget to put that little bubble. Use whatever visual stuff that helps you do that. But it's a very important part of your health and not becoming burnout.
Can I add something too? Really, I think what it boils down to is sexuality is within the individual first and foremost. And so whatever orientation or relationship style you choose, it's about, are you happy? Are you fulfilling your path? I really don't think there's a one-size-fits-all, and there's all kinds of research that says this or that or the other, but really it boils down to, like, when you come home during the, at the end of the day, are you following your heart? Are you doing what's best for you? And are you being open and intimate with another human being, whatever that looks like? So I guess that's where I stand on that.
I just want to make one quick remark, and that a lot of times people think they're in a relationship and they're not. They're in an entanglement. So beware, because a lot of times if it's a true relationship, you have this. And of course, as a practitioner, it doesn't matter what that client or patient has that comes in the office. I just want to support them to get what they want. What is it they want? A lot of times they don't know what they want, and you have to dig. And that's why I love the muscle testing, because I can find out, are you single-minded? Is this really what you want? What do you really want? And as a practitioner, what we can do is to just ask a lot of questions to support them to really get what they want. And one other thing is that when you're in a relationship, usually what you really want at a gut level is what they want at a gut level. Whether they realize it or not. Come in and they're all upset, oh, my husband or my wife divorced me or something. Well, on a subconscious level, they wanted that too. I just want to bring that up. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay. Can casual sex be healthy?
Yes.
I think a woman should answer that question.
Go ahead. The question was, can casual sex be healthy?
It doesn't have to be me.
Formal, casual, semi-casual.
I think it's an important part of discovery for both sexes. So I think, yeah, I mean, definitely can be healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I jokingly said yes, right out of the box, and I mean that's a conditional yes. Obviously, I mean if it's done safely, emotionally, physically, medically, then I think if one does it with the proper approach, then sure. But with the stipulations that Dr. Jacobs put out as well, no harm, basically. Okay.
Anybody else?
Well, I was just going to say that, yes, if it's safe. I mean, a woman with 10 children would say that, right?
Something I wanted to add between the last two questions is I think honesty is important in any relationship. So as long as you're honest, whether you're poly or monogamous or having casual sex or whatever, that you're being clear and honest with all parties involved. Okay.
I want to know the difference between formal sex and casual sex.
Oh, come on, I'll show you.
Or business casual sex.
Okay, so we talked about healing relationships between self and parents. What about one's relationship with self on a basis for other relationships? Does that make sense? Okay,
Well, I'll
Valerie.
say absolutely. I think that until we are our very best friend, until we can trust ourselves completely, we aren't ready to be in a relationship, as far as an intimate, loving relationship. And I think that's so important, and it can grow back and forth, because as you get to know them and you open up and are vulnerable, you get to know yourself more too. So it will go back and forth, but to let it grow in a natural way. It's so important to know who we are. The truth is, we can only see in others what's inside us. Everybody we see out there, and every way we interact with them, we're looking through our eyes. So the more we understand ourselves, the more compassion we have for ourselves, the more compassion for someone else. The least we judge ourselves, the least we will judge someone else. And that goes the other way. So you want someone that really loves themselves a lot.
I would comment. I agree with what you say, but it takes a lifetime to get there. And so we're all on a path. That's the path we're on. But I don't think we can expect ourselves or the other to be there. And it's just a lifetime of opening up, learning who you are, and opening up to another. That's the path you're on. But you can't expect people to be there. That's why they're having problems, because we're not there. And none of us are. I don't find very many. Maybe the Dalai Lama's there, but I'm not there yet. I'm still learning, and I've been around here a long time. I think you got to learn about sex. You can't start. You say casual sex. Well, we all start with casual sex. We're just, when you're that young, you're just driven by this urge and instinct, and everybody looks good to you, and whoever there you are. And for people to, well, one of our prominent politicians who's running for the nomination of his party makes the statement that sex is just for procreation. I mean, this is an attitude that's still common in this country. It's a little ridiculous. But, you know, young people are going to explore and see what relationships, and learn about themselves. And how are they going to learn? This is the way it is in the world.
Well, that's interesting. It leads to the next question that says, why do you feel our society is so prudish when it comes to sex?
It's a Puritan society. We started this. Who started this country? A bunch of Puritans that came from England. And we still have that in our culture. I spend a lot of time in Europe. I've been going there teaching for a month a year for now 28 years. It's very different. Their attitude toward sex is different. Here, it's blasted everywhere on every billboard, and yet in the privacy of our bedrooms, we're a little uptight. We're overstimulated and underperforming.